Wow, not a good day for technology, but here I am. It's Tuesday. Welcome. It's time for another Tuesday Live at 5. I am Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I am all about the gorgeous Full of Life suite from the Stampin' Up! 2024-2025 annual catalog. Now, this suite is one that if you like color and you like bold patterns, it is going to be right up your alley. The paper in this suite is absolutely fantastic. Goes with everything. I'm going to show it all to you in a minute. But if you are here, first of all, thank you for your patience. If you are still here waiting for me to get well, it's not my fault, waiting for my Wi-Fi network to get its act together, let me know that you're here so that I can give you a hello, whether you're joining me live or on the replay. Let me just scroll here. I see Jeannie K and Christine and Colleen. Hi, Charlie. And from hot Eastern Washington. Yes, I saw you guys are roasting out there. Hello, Adelaide, P. Gates, Sonia. Hello, Kathy, Krista, Deb. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Thank you so much for waiting. All right. Let me switch to my desk view and I'm going to show you this fabulous suite. Here we go. So you can find it on pages 42 and 43 in the annual catalog. This paper is just, these little snippets don't do this paper justice at all. So I'm going to show it to you, full size 6x6 sheets, and let you see just how fantastic it is. But first, the bundle. So we have this stamp set, which is super fun because you can do all sorts of mix and match greetings. Stampin' Up! Is going with this type of set more and more. And I love that because it really allows you to customize your greetings for whoever your recipient is. So lots of, best friend. So excited for you, friend. Thank you, friend. Thank you for being a friend. Miss you, friend. Best happy birthday wishes, or you could do best birthday wishes, happy birthday wishes. There's so many different possibilities with the sentiments in this set. And then we have these fantastic dies. Now, this is actually from the display boards for a team event that I did a couple of weeks ago, and I held on to it because I wanted to show you how the heart dies work. So I'll show you the dies. I've got them right here. Okay, so they are two separate dies. And if you use only this little sort of stained glass window die, you get a window. Okay, you literally get a stained glass window. It does not have a cutting blade on the outside of the heart. Okay, so what you need to do if you want to get this kind of a look is use this and this die together. So these two, just like I've got them on my magnet sheet here. Okay, and that will give you this little die cut heart that you can use as an embellishment on a project. Okay, so we're actually going to use that on the first card, so you'll see it in action. Some lovely leaves, both stamped and a die cut. These layer beautifully. And then we have this fun, this doesn't look like much, but it's actually like a brush stroke or a stroke of it from a paintbrush. Very, very cool. And these adorable little hearts. And then, of course, we have friend. So we have just friend as a die cut, or you can use this larger, sort of thicker font to layer behind it as a shadow. Or you can stamp the word friend and die cut it out with that die. Okay, so lots of possibilities with this one. So that is the bundle. And then let me show you this gorgeous paper. So we have there's 3 different starburst images, one in sort of blues and purples, one in greens and blues, and then one that's like a rainbow. And then on the back side, we have these sort of almost like an alcohol ink splat or wash, and then just a plain sort of ombre wash. So that's those ones. And then we have these sort of color swatches in the greens and yellows and the blues and purples. And then on the back, we have these gorgeous gradient ombre washes again. And then we have, again, these little swatches. So these ones are more, they're all watercolor, but these ones to me are a little bit, they look like they could have been done with acrylic paint. These ones are definitely more watercolor. And so again, we've got the greens and blues and the reds and yellows and oranges. And then on the back, more beautiful washes. And then we've got some dots, large and small. And then on the back, again, these gorgeous, these are my favorite patterns, these washes on the back. I just cannot get enough of them. And then we have these awesome grid patterns with various colors. So honestly, these will go with any any cardstock you happen to have in your stash. And then on the back, again, we've got more of these gorgeous wash patterns. So just fantastic paper. Honestly, it goes with anything, works for any occasion, just fabulous. And then two of my favorite embellishments in this new catalog, this gorgeous iridescent sheer ribbon. I think this is back in stock. It was on back order or was out of stock, but I think it's come back in. You're going to see, I'm going to use it on every card. So you're going to see that in action a whole bunch. And then these gorgeous faceted gems. Now these ones are out of stock. I think they're due back in maybe next week, but they're super, super pretty. And again, go with absolutely everything. So that is the suite. So let's get to making some projects. Okay. Let's just see. We've got Namiji here. Hi, Judy from Wawa. Oh, 33, 33, Adelheid. Das ist sehr heiß für Deutschland. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, just need to take a sip of water because I'm having to talk louder because I don't have my headset. It's just a day. Here we go. This is the first project we're going to make. Really quick and easy one. I wanted to show how easy it is to make really cute projects without a whole lot of muss or fuss. So here is our first project. We're going to start with a piece of basic black cardstock that is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Now, I like narrow borders on my projects. If you don't like to deal in eighths, you could certainly cut this to 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. I've also embossed it. Oh, Jean. Yeah, we were having big time issues. It should be live on Facebook because I do see a few people are watching on Facebook. I was having big time Wi-Fi issues. So it took me about 10 minutes to actually be able to get on live. So if that's why if you're waiting over there, that may be why you weren't seeing me. Wi-Fi was not my friend today. But welcome. I'm glad you found me. So I've embossed this piece of black cardstock with the So Swirly embossing folder. And this folder is so much fun. If you have not checked it out, it works on both sides. It's almost hard to tell which side is the emboss side and which side is the deboss side because it's just so fun. And it's just perfect for this sort of abstract patterns in this suite. So then I have two pieces of the fabulous DSP. This was actually from my display boards that I took down. So it started out as a 5 by 6 inch piece. They were 6 by 6, obviously, but I had to cut part of it off when I took it off my display boards. So these are two 3 by 5 inch. This was 3 by 5. And then I cut this one down to 3 by 4. Okay. And all we're going to do is take and tear, and I'm going to tear towards me because I want to have that white edge along my teared border there. Torn border? Teared. Torn. I'm out of school for a week and a half and I've already forgotten grammar. There you go. So I like having that sort of white edge there. Just adds a little bit of interest. So that is going to get glued there. And then we're going to layer on top. Again, I'm going to tear towards me to get that white border. And I'm going to tear right along the yellow. So that is going to layer like that. And I just like that sort of little bit of texture that adds. So we're going to go ahead and glue these on. A little bit of glue. And we're going to center them. So these are 3 inches wide. So my cardstock is 4 1/8. So I'm going to be about 2 squares. A little bit more than 2 squares across. There we go. And then this one is going to layer right over top. And actually what I'm going to do is just curl this a little bit. Just because I want to have that little bit of dimension and texture there. So again, a bit of glue. We're going to layer that right over top. Now, if you wanted to, you could certainly use a different pattern as you're layering this second piece. I just like having sort of the layers of the rainbow stripe there. All right, now that is going to get glued onto our card base. Our card base is 4 1/4 by 11 inches. It's thick basic white cardstock, scored at 5 1/2. So again, we'll fold that in half along our score line. Crisp it up. And then again, a bit of liquid glue. I like to use liquid glue when I'm adhering embossed layers. I just feel like the liquid glue gets into all the nooks and crannies of the embossed pattern a little bit better than tape does, or seal, which is what I tend to use when I'm not using liquid glue. And I just feel like I get better adhesion. So we're just going to give that a good burnish. Make sure that is well stuck. And then we're going to work on our focal image. So I have here one of those fun little stained glass hearts. It's die cut from black cardstock. I do have adhesive sheets on the back just to make it easy to layer. And then I have a second heart. So again, this is cut using this die, just this die. You will get a little frame, but then you also get this inner part that we're going to use to layer behind our stained glass window. So that is going to layer on there just like that. So we'll get rid of our backing. And we're just going to layer it. It's hard to do this when you're not looking straight down. Oh, that's not bad. We're just going to trim up a little bit around the bottom here where I didn't quite get it perfectly aligned. There we go. And there's our cute little focal image. Okay, I went with sort of greens and blues on this one instead of oranges and yellows. All right, so that is going to get adhered. But first, we are going to add some ribbon. Where did I put my ribbon? There it is. So I'm just going to take my seal and run it across the back of my heart here. And then we're just going to do a sort of zigzag pattern. So we're going to kind of come across here. Just like that. Okay. And then we're going to trim this at an angle. Let's do it this way. And we're going to keep both ends at the same angle. Just like that. And then that is going to get popped up on the front of our card with a couple dimensionals. Pop that one on. And we're going to pop that on. Now I'm going to try to keep my lines the same direction as the background. It'll bug me if they're not straight. So that's just the OCD in me, you know, wanting it to be just right. Okay. And then we're going to work on our label. So as I said, you can do lots of sort of build a sentiment with this set. So we're going to start with our happy birthday. We're going to stamp it just in Memento Black on a little scrap of white. We're going to punch this out in just a sec. And then we're going to stamp wishes. Now, because I've used different colors here, I'm going to use sort of green and blue for my wishes. Or not green and blue, 2 shades of green. I've got granny apple green and shaded spruce. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. One is with daubers. The other is literally just using the edges of your ink pad. So I'm going to start with my lighter shade. I'm going to just take my wishes stamp and I'm just going to hit half of the stamped image. Can you see that? It's only half inked just on the edge of my pad there. And then I'm going to come in with my darker green and I'm going to ink the bottom half. And you just want to make sure there isn't a gap. So you might have to go over a little bit. There we go. Oh, no, there's still a line there. There we go. Okay. You can't see it on the stamp, but trust me, once I stamp this, you'll see how it works. There we go. Okay. So that's one way to get two-tone stamping with a sentiment. I will show you another one a little bit later. I need to grab my punch. Hang on one sec. Okay, we're going to punch this out with the Labeled with Love punch. This is one of the punches I have been using most from this new catalog. I'm just going to pop that out. And then that is going to layer right over top of the heart. So we're going to put a little bit of seal here and then add a dimensional on the other ends and layer it just like that. And then we're going to add a little bling with some of our fabulous faceted iridescent gems. So we'll kind of do 1 and 2. Let's do 1. We'll do that one up there. And then this guy maybe up here. There we go. Done and done. Okay, now on my sample, I'll just show you quick on the inside. I stamped Thinking of You and then did there's a little sort of swoosh stamp. You're going to see it in action later again. Actually, you might not. This is the stamp here. And I just did 3-tone stamping on this one. Same way that I did with my sentiment, but with 3 shades of ink. Okay, so there we go. That's number 1. Really quick and easy. Let's move on to number 2 after I clean up some of my mess here. So speaking of quick and easy, this one is all about the DSP. Okay, so DSP, this I've used 4 different patterns of DSP on this card. As you can tell, I really, really like it. And there are so many, it just works, all the patterns work together. So here we go. Let's put this one together. Again, super quick and easy. So to start, I have a 4 by 5¼ inch piece of this starburst pattern, this rainbow starburst. I just love this pattern. I can't get enough of it. I've been using it a ton. And then we're going to layer that on a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 piece of basic black. And I love using these patterns with black and white because they just pop so nicely. So we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue here. And we'll pop that on. And then we have another piece of the DSP. This one is 2.5 by 4. And then we're going to mat that on a piece that's 2 5/8 by 4 1/8. So again, we'll just go ahead and layer those. And I, as always, have put all of the measurements in the video description for you. So if you are wanting to try to recreate any of these projects, it's all there. Now we're going to add a bit of ribbon to our background panel here. And I find with this ribbon that I need to use a little bit of tear and tape to adhere it because it's so sheer. I find the seal and the glue dots just don't adhere. So I need to use a bit of tear and tape to secure this. So I'm just going to flip this over. I'm going to take a little bit of tape. The other advantage to using tear and tape is you can take off the backing and it acts as adhesive to stick your card together. So I'm just going to put a little bit of tape there. You could certainly use Scotch tape if you wanted to, but I figure by using tear and tape, I'm actually using adhesive that I can stick my card together with. And then I'm going to take another piece. And let's just make sure that's straight enough. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and glue that panel onto our card base. So this one is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Again, it's thick basic white. I do like to use the thick basic white for card bases rather than just the regular, just because it's a little bit sturdier. I find they stand up a little bit better. I find the regular basic white doesn't quite have the same fortitude as our colored cardstock. So, all right, we're going to peel off our backings from the tear and tape because we're going to use that to stick our card front on, and then we'll add a little bit more glue around the edge, the edges here and in the middle. And then we're going to pop this onto our card base. And of course I did white on white. What was I thinking? I just have a hard time seeing white on white. There we go. Okay. Now this one is going to get glued right on. Did I pop that? No, I didn't. I glued it flat. We're going to center that right over our starburst here. That's going to get glued right on. So again, a little bit of glue here. And we're going to pop that on. Right about there looks good. And I just realized I put my ribbon too high. Oh well, a little bit different. And then I have my stamped die cut friend. So I did this ahead of time just because when you cut the blank, trying to line up these letters is not as easy as you might think. So we're going to actually adhere this with some mini dimensionals. And believe it or not, the minis do fit quite well on the back of this die cut. You don't have to do a whole lot of trimming or finagling. So I'm just going to add a couple of minis here. And then I'm going to grab some half minis that I already have cut here from a previous episode. So we'll go one there and one down there, and that should do it. So we'll get rid of our backings. Come on. Yeah, Deb, I love how cheery they are too. This DSP just makes me happy. I don't know who would not want to get one of these fun, bright, happy cards. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just layer that. I like doing it at a little bit of an angle just because of the scripty font. And then I have one of those paint swatches or the paint stripe that I've die cut from a little scrap of that rainbow DSP. And we're actually going to go ahead and stamp right on that. We're going to use that as a label for our sentiment. So I'm going to stamp "So Excited for You" in the Memento Black. And I'm actually going to take my ink pad to the stamp just because it's a little bit longer than the pad. And I want to make sure everything gets well inked. And then we're just going to stamp right onto the DSP here. It fits quite nicely. It's almost like they planned it. There we go. And then that is actually going to get popped up as well. It's going to kind of run across the top here, overlap our D. So I'm going to add a couple more minis here. And again, get rid of our backings. And we'll pop that on. Got a dimensional backing there. Pop that on right about there. And I'm going to tuck one little mini on the end there so that it doesn't flap around. There we go. And then we're going to tie a bow. Now, this is what I love most about this ribbon is how easy it is to get a sweet looking bow. So I'm going to take my ribbon. I'm going to make my bunny ears. And then you can pull this really nice and tight and you get a really nice tight bow and the tight knot. And the tighter your knot is, the nicer your loops stand up. Isn't that pretty? Look at how pretty that ribbon is. So let's give this a trim. One and a two. And we're going to pop that on just sort of where the ribbon meets the top layer. And where are my glue dots? There they are. So we'll just press the knot into a glue dot. And secure it. And I find with the knotted ribbon, the glue dots are okay. With the flat ribbon, not so much, which is why I use the tear and tape. Okay, and then again, we're going to add some of our bling. I absolutely can't get enough of these little gems. They are my new faves. They need to come back in stock very soon because I have this and another pack, and that's it. Not going to see me through. All right, that is number 2. You like that one? Happy, happy, happy. All right, so the last one is a fun fold. So if you were part of my Stamping Symphony team and you were with me last night at our meeting, you saw, and you actually made one of these along with me, but I'm going to show you how to make this fun accordion folds, pop-out card. I'm not even sure what they're calling these. I've seen lots of names. I've seen it called an accordion fold, accordion Z fold, but it's not really a Z. It's actually a W. So I don't know. I don't know what the actual name of this is, but it's cute. So I'm going to show you how to do it. It's not hard at all. So we're going to start with a piece of thick basic white cardstock. This is going to form our base. It is 4 1/4 by 10 1/2. So it's a 1/2 inch shorter than a regular card base would be. Okay. So 4 1/4 by 10 1/2. And then I have scored it. I got to get my cheat sheet here at 5 1/2, 6 3/4, 8 and 9 1/4. All of these measurements are in the video description. Okay, if you want to recreate this. Then I'm just going to take, I've got my piece laying with all my score lines towards the bottom. I'm going to start at that top score line and fold up. It's almost like I'm folding a card base, but it's a 1/2 inch short of a card base. Okay, so there we go. The next score line I'm going to fold towards me. I'm going to burnish these better in a minute. Then the next score line is going to fold up. And then the last one folds down. Okay, so that gives me that sort of accordion fold. Now, what I like to do is actually take each one of these folds and burnish them like crazy. Okay, the more you burnish, the flatter your finished card is going to lie. Okay, so we've done that one. And then I'm going to do this one. And this one. And finally, this one. Okay, so you just want to make sure those are really, really well burnished so that your card lies flat when you're trying to get it into your envelope. Okay, so that is a WV fun fold. I like it, Anne. That's what we're calling it for now, or VW, a Volkswagen. Okay, the other piece that you're going to need is a 3 1/4 by 9 1/2 inch piece of thick basic white. Okay, that's going to be sort of our front panel, and it is scored at 4 3/4 inches. So I'm just going to fold that in half to make this little mini card that is going to go on the front. Okay, so those, you can see how that is going to work to form our base. Okay, so what I like to do whenever I make a fun fold, I like to make a template just from some white cardstock, and I write all of my measurements and scoring and everything on that template, and then I have it so that when I want to recreate it, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. Okay, or find the video that I did, you know, a year and a half ago. All right, so now we're going to decorate. So to start, our background panel is another piece of that fun, full of life designer series paper. It is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 inches. And I've embossed it again using that So Swirly embossing folder. I think this looks like ripples in a pond. I don't know. Maybe I'm just dying to get up to the lake. So that is going to get glued to our background or our panel there. And again, I'm going to use liquid glue just to make sure I get nice adhesion. Get that nicely centered. I do like narrow borders. I think I've said that about 15 times today already. So if you don't like dealing with 8s, you could cut this piece to 4 by 5 1/4 if you wanted to. Okay, I just like having narrow borders. All right, so that is our background panel. Then we have these sort of 4 little segments here. And we are going to adhere. I've got 4 strips. These are 1 1/8 by 4 1/8. Again, if you don't want to deal with 8s, you can cut them to 1 by 4. Okay. And some of them are from this paper. They're just different blues and greens that are going to coordinate with the patterns that I have in on my card. Okay. So now here's the thing. On the inside of this one, I actually adhered this after I adhered my front panel so that I have this decorative strip. Okay. If you don't want to do that, you could certainly glue this strip down first and then add this piece. Okay. But we're not going to do that. I'm going to show you how I did this one. And then actually, why don't I show you? Do I have my other one? Hang on. Here's an example of the same fold, but with the strip behind. Can you see the difference? So this one, I put my strip on top. This one, I put it behind. Now, I feel like this one works because I have a different colored cardstock. It's not white on white. This is just white. So I feel like the strip works better. It gives a little bit more color to the inside of the card. So I'm going to do it this way. But I just wanted to make you aware that there are different ways to do that. All right. So this piece, this one is going to be for the inside, or maybe this one. No, we'll do that one. These guys are going to go on these inner sections, and then this one, before we glue it, we're going to do some stamping, but first we'll glue these ones on. So here we go. A little bit of glue, and we're going to pop this on right in there. And then this guy, these inner pieces, you don't really see a whole lot. It's really just so that you're not looking at white cardstock when you have your card opened. So that accordion fold has a little bit of color. Okay. Now, before we glue this one on, we're going to stamp that fun little branch image in some basic black, or not basic black, Memento black. I wish we had basic black. So I'm going to just kind of have it coming up this little strip, almost like vines. Just like that, just to add a little something. There we go. And then that is going to get glued to that last little segment. So we'll pop that on just like that. Make sure it's straight. There we go. So when our card closes, that's what we're going to see, right? Okay. Now we're going to set that aside for a minute, and we're going to decorate our little mini card. So the important thing to remember here is that this card needs to be oriented so it opens the wrong way, right? Normally a card would open this way like a book, but we're going to do it the opposite. Okay. So I have here another piece of the fabulous DSP. This is sized, what size is it? 3 1/8 by 4 5/8. Ooh, what did I do here? Cut this way too wide. How wide is this? Oh, it's 3 1/2. Oops. Let's give that a trim. Should be 3 1/8. Let's make some room for the old trimmer. 3 1/8 is what it needs to be. So let's trim that down so that will actually fit on our little mini card there. 3 1/8 by 4 5/8. So that now, oh, that's much better, is going to get glued onto our little mini card there. So again, just a little bit of glue. And we're going to pop that on just like that. Okay. Now, this is the only part that's even remotely tricky. Okay. So with my card closed, I'm going to make sure that this is sort of oriented. Let me just move my sample out of the way here. This is oriented so that it's like it's going to open backwards. Okay. It's going to open this way. Okay. So I want it to be centered. And once I've got that positioned, I'm going to open it up and I'm going to apply adhesive to this edge. I'm going to use tear and tape. You do want something pretty strong. You could use liquid glue, but it does take a little bit of time to set up. And you want to make sure that the adhesive goes right along the edge of that mini card. Okay, so I've got my tear and tape right there. Can you see that? All right, so I'm going to, again, center that there. I'm going to open my card up again. And I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing from my tear and tape. I'm going to hold this in place. I just realized that that's not quite centered. So we're going to fix that. There we go. And then I'm just going to take and fold my little accordion just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and apply tear and tape along the other edge of my mini card. Okay. So now I've got it along this edge. Again, I'm going to take off my backing. I'm going to hold my accordion down and I'm going to fold this over. And there we go. How easy is that? Okay, really easy to create this fun fold. Now, I'm going to decorate. Can you see why I covered? I didn't really like the look of that. So we're going to add this last little strip just to give a little pop of color, reminiscent of the front, to cover up where the two pieces overlap. So I'm just going to center that on there. And that just gives a little pop of color to the inside. Okay, so you can see those inner pieces. We don't see a whole lot, but it just gives a little something. Okay, so now it's just a matter of decorating. So I have some bits and pieces here. So I have this die cut leaf in black. That is going to come up sort of across the, up from the bottom and across. Again, I've got adhesive sheets on the back here. So we'll just pop this on. Just like that. And then I have a vellum branch, same die. This is from the new, what's it called? Something Greenery. It's from the new online exclusives. It's right here. Graceful Greenery vellum. It has this fun white texture pattern in it. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that. Now this one I don't have adhesive sheets on the back. So I'm going to use just a couple of little dibby dabs of glue here. Strategically placed along the stem to secure that. So I want to offset this. I don't want them to layer right on top of each other. So I'll just give that a second to set. And while that's happening, we're going to stamp our sentiment. So I have a little banner. This is cut using the Stylish Shapes dies. And once again, I'm going to stamp my happy birthday in black ink. There we go. And then we're going to do a little dauber action. So I have here that sort of swooshy stamp. And I have 3 shades of green: Granny Apple, Lemon Lime Twist, and Shade of Spruce. So I'm going to start by inking the whole thing in Lemon Lime Twist. Then I'm going to come in with my Granny Apple Green and a dauber, and I'm just going to ink sort of the middle with the Granny Apple. And then I'm going to come in with Shaded Spruce and ink one end. And then we're going to stamp right over top of our happy birthday, and we're going to get this fun ombre. Look, isn't that cool? Easy peasy. All right. We're not going to put the daubers away just yet because we're going to use it on the inside as well. All right, so that is now, oh, you did not stick. It's okay. We'll hold you down with our sentiment. We're going to pop that on with a couple of dimensionals. As soon as I dig them out, they're a little bit buried with all my bits and pieces here. So we're just going to pop that on, hopefully straight-ish. There we go. And then our friend is going to come on here. But we're going to layer. So this is what the detailed die cut friend looks like. And then this is the open die, right? This is the one that you can cut out the stamped image with, but they both layer quite nicely. So I have some adhesive sheets again on the back of this. There's no way I would even attempt to do liquid glue with this detailed die cut. Adhesive sheets for the win. So we're going to layer that on our background here. I'm going to try and not have it stick to my fingers. Now, the only tricky part about using this is not losing track of the eye. So I actually intentionally didn't keep track of it because we're going to use a gem instead, because it is very easy to misplace the eye. So we're going to go ahead and add a couple of dimensionals again. I'm going to use minis, just like we did last time. There is a fair bit of real estate on the back of this die cut, so there's room for these little mini minis. Trying to get my half mini out. Gonna pop that on there. And this guy is gonna go on here. And then that is going to get layered on the front of our card. Just like that. Okay, we're going to add a little bow. So I get to tie yet another bow with this fabulous ribbon. Okay, now I am going to give you a couple of tips with this ribbon. If you are wanting to do layering, I'll show you what I mean in a second. Don't. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me just fix this because I can't talk and explain at the same time. Or I can't tie and explain. Look, I can't even talk and tie a bow at the same time. Wow, I'm challenged today. Here we go. There we go. We got our bow. All right, so on my original prototype of this, I actually had some of this ribbon that ran in behind this panel. So it ran around this front little narrow bit here. The problem was that when I adhered this panel, it was adhering to the ribbon. And as I said, this ribbon does not take adhesive well, so it wouldn't stick. This front panel kept popping off. So I actually just took the ribbon off altogether and re-glued it, and voila, it now stays. So don't attempt to glue this ribbon, unless you're going to have real estate on either side for the layer to adhere, like we did on the last card. Okay, it's a little bit tricky to get it to accept adhesive. All right, we're going to take our bow. That's going to go just at the base of our little branches there. And then we'll add a couple more little gems. One up here, and we'll do one up there. Lots and lots of fun. Now, I don't think I'm going to take the time to do the inside just because there's some coloring involved, and I've already been on for quite a while due to our technical difficulties. So I'm just going to show you on the inside. This little label is cut using the Nested Essentials dies. And then there's that little branch, stamped branch that we did on this little panel here that I've colored with various shades of stamping blends. And then I did that same ombre effect on the best that we did here. Okay, using the same 3 shades of ink. You could certainly stamp a greeting here. This is where you're intended to write your greeting to whomever your recipient is. But that is this fun, I don't know, WV fold, right? That's what we're calling it, VW fold, the Volkswagen fold. All right, let me pull in all of our projects. I got lots more to share with you because I had so much fun playing with this suite. I can't just make 3. So here we go. Here's some more ideas. This one is my sketch inspiration. So I'll just quickly show you which sketch from the annual catalog. It's on page 22. It is this one, sort of angled one. And what I did, if you think about it, I just rotated it. Okay, so I did my sketch or my card portrait, or sorry, landscape instead of portrait, but lots of fun hearts, and I used my blends and a little bit of Wink Stella to color that one. And then here's another one using more of that fabulous paper and that sort of stamped branch image. Here's another one. This is a fun fold. I used some retired ribbon. I am so sad. I'm missing this black and white gingham ribbon. I have just a little bit left, so I used it on this card. I actually used the window. I cut a window with that heart, and I used it as a stencil. So I just used blending brushes to stencil my background on this one. So it opens like that. Here's another one. I posted this one yesterday. So it's fun to paper piece. If you like paper piecing. Oh, I forgot to dot my I. Thank you, Deb. You've got my back. Let's actually, you know what? We're going to grab this little guy off here and we're going to put it on there. There we go. That's better. Thanks, Deb. Can't have an undotted I. All right. So as I said, where was I? This one. If you like to paper piece, what I did is I actually kept all the little negative bits when I die cut these branches. And then I used them to fill in the negative space on this one. And then here's a super simple book fold. That was from our team event. This is a swap I received. Again, this one's stenciled as well, using that heart die as a stencil. And then here is my scrapbook page. So one of my good friends, fellow demonstrator from the US, Michelle Soot, we just hit it off. We attended a focus group at head office together years ago, and we just have been friends ever since. So this is my little tribute to her and some of the fun times that we have had together. So again, lots and lots of fun, and there are those starburst images. I cannot get enough of them. All right, so there you go. Lots and lots of inspiration with the Full of Life suite from the annual catalog. Now let me get back to here. All right. Thanks everybody for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed these projects. Again, I apologize for my Wi-Fi really being uncooperative today, but thank you for waiting and being patient while I got things sorted out. And I will see you next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.